All right, so today we're doing day 3 of circles. Here's the bell work. Complete the square. Final answer should be in the form of x plus or minus c sub 1 quantity squared equals c sub 2. Example, x plus 1 quantity squared equals negative 12. So this is what your answer should look like in this form for both of these examples. If you've forgotten how to complete the square, make sure you look it up somewhere. Probably YouTube, your best and fastest bet. But I will quickly run through these. All right, so we're going to take that 83 and we're going to move it to the other side. That's going to leave us with x squared plus 16x equals, and now 80, so 5 plus 83 is 88. All right, next, complete the square. If you have forgotten, what you're going to do is you're going to take that 16, you take that middle term, that 16x, take that 16, and you are going to divide by 2. And this equals 8. Actually, I'm going to use a different color for that. I'll use red. That's going to equal 8. You're then going to square that value. And then we get, I'll use green, we'll get 64. Okay. So then what we should have done is we should have added the number you get here after you divide by 2 and then square it. You're going to take this number, you're going to add this to both sides. So I'm going to, I'll go back to, no, I'll keep it as green. So we're going to add 64. Oops. Add 64 to both sides. And that's why I left that space. Okay. Next step, can someone tell me what 88 plus 64 is? 152? Okay. 152 equals 152. All right. Next, the whole point of complete the square is to get to this point here. Now, this easily factors without me thinking about anything to become x plus or minus some number squared. Now that number that goes there is going to be this number. So whatever this divided by 2 is, 8, that's the number that goes here. And that is complete the square. And we're done. And that is in the form that I wanted you to have it in, x plus or minus some number squared equals some number. So that is complete the square. Did any of you get it right? That should look super familiar from Algebra 1 and Algebra 2. It doesn't look familiar? Uh-oh. Well, you should have learned it. Oh, well, that's not good. If not, well, there you go. That's complete the square crash course right there. This next one. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add 2 to both sides. So we're going to get 5x squared minus 20x, and then equals 23 plus 2 is 25. Now, in order, so this is super important. In order to complete the square, this only works if your leading term is a 1, the coefficient. So this, if it's like a 2, a 3, in this case it's a 5, you can't do complete the square without, well, doing something to this. And looks of it, we can divide everything by 5. So divide everything by 5 and we're going to get x squared minus 4x, leave some space, equals 5. So we just reduced it by a factor of 5. Okay, next. Now we're going to split the middle term. So we take, remember, and don't forget the sign that we're taking negative 4 and you're going to divide by 2. Oh, my apologies. I got to take this phone call. It's from work. All right, sorry about that. I'm getting a new work computer sent to me, so they needed some credentials from me so I can get that. All right, sorry that I wouldn't actually do that in our morning class. It's unprofessional of me. All right, sorry about that. So let's get back here. So -4 divided by 2, we get a -2. And then don't forget, once we get here, we're going to have to square it, but don't forget to put it in parentheses. So we have to, if you don't do it in your head, you type it in. Don't forget the parentheses around it. It does matter. And then we get 4. All right. So we are going to add 4 to both sides. And then the left side factors, and that one's actually really easy to see, but it's going to be, x plus or minus some number squared equals, and then 5 plus 4 gives us 9. Now, the number we're going to use is when you split it. So when we take that -4 and you cut it in half, -2, again, that's the number that goes here. So I will write that in red. So x minus 2. All right. And then that's it. That's their final answer. X minus 2 quantity squared equals 9. Oh, sorry, I wasn't reading the chat. Okay, so all of you actually got this problem done before I finish it. Okay, well, for people watching, there you go. And again, sorry for the interruption in the bell work, but we should be good now for the rest of the class. All right, so we're going to use, so if you understand complete the square, the day 3 of circles, super easy. It's cake. Yeah, it's definitely easy with day 2. Not that day 2 was hard or anything. Paper, pencil, all that good stuff. This is the same slides that we got day 1 of circles, just showing the standard form and the general form. So today we'll be going from standard to general. All right, this page, I'm really not going to focus on it. This is, if you're someone that likes cookbooks and you like reading step 1, do this, step 2, step 3, and so forth to finish a problem, then maybe this slide is for you. I don't really like cookbooks like this per se. I approach it. Well, I guess I do approach it this way, but I don't really think about it in steps 1 through 5. But just to quickly go through it, here's the original problem. Step 1 is you want to move the constant to the other side. So that's what you do. So this 84 gets moved over, negative 84. All right, step 1's done. Step 2, we want to, I thought I saw a spelling mistake. We want to group the x's and y's together. So we just reorder the terms. You put the x stuff together. So there's your x squared and there's your x term. There's your y squared and then there's your y term. So you just order stuff. I also do, which I didn't put in these directions here, is I leave space. So after this 22x, I'll leave a little space to put a constant, which I'm going to show you on the next page. And then same thing after this y term, I leave a little space for another constant value we're going to put in. Next, we just, we take the coefficients of the x and the y, and we cut it in half, divide by 2, and then you square it. We get 121. We take that negative 10, divide by 2, and square it. You get 25. And then from there, you just fill in those blanks, and then you factor it like we did on bell work. But let's actually work one through and see how it all kind of fits together. I'm just reading the chat and somebody said cake, or maybe I said cake. Now I want some cake. All right. So we got this problem right here. X squared plus y squared plus 24x minus 6y plus 128 equals 0. And our goal is to take this general form and put it into standard form of a circle. Also, a fair warning, people watching this video and all of you here, you'll be given equations on your test, and I will not tell you if it is the general form of a circle, ellipse, hyperbola, or parabola. It will be up to you to identify the conic type and approach accordingly. But I can tell you, every conic has these little pieces that will easily tell what it is. So don't worry about it yet, but just keep that in mind, characteristics of a circle. All right, let's see what's going on next. So I have the problem here. So this is the same problem. All right, so what we want to do first is we want to move this 128 to the other side. I have invisible boxes, so I really hope yep, okay. So move the 128 to the other side, but in the same step, I also reorder my terms. So I put my x's together, I leave some space. I put my y's together, I leave some space. I move the constant to the other side. So that's what I do in my first step. Yeah, so move constant and group x's and y. Perfect. Yep. Next, we need to, so I don't know why I wrote it twice. I just did. You don't have to. But we need to figure out what numbers go here and here. I probably shouldn't have put a plus sign here because it could be a minus sign. I know it's not going to be, but it could be. Same thing over here. I shouldn't have put a plus sign because actually this one will not be a plus sign. Well, actually, it will. I take that back. You can always put a plus sign. It'll always be positive. Eat my own words. All right. Anyway, we're going to take that 24 and we're going to cut it in half. So let's see if I can get this right. Yep, it's got that 24. And you are going to divide by 2, just like bell work. And then we get the number, right, which is 12. You are then going to square that number, and we get 144. So again, complete the square. You divide by 2 and square it every time. Take this number, this coefficient, you divide by 2 and square it every time. The number you get, the 144, that is what you're going to add. Now remember, it's an equation, so we just can't add 144 to one side. It wouldn't be balanced. So if you add 144 to the left, you must add 144 to the right. And then we do it again for the y. We take that -6 and we divide by 2. And then we take that, that -3 and we square it, and we get +9. And so that number goes here. And if you add 9 to one side, you must add 9 to the other. This is an equation. So you can see how I kind of ate my words earlier. This is always going to be plus some number and plus some number. And it's because whenever you square anything, if you square a positive or you square a negative, it's always going to end up being positive. So it is true that you will always be adding some constant here and some constant here. Okay, let me take note of that. Looks like some of you are kind of working ahead. You're seeing where this is going based on Bellwork. So we now have this written out. So this trinomial factors into something squared and then plus something squared, and then -128 plus 144 plus 9 is 25. All right. We're going to have x, and then that number is going to be the number when you divide it by 2. So you don't have to think about, what two numbers add to 24 and multiply to 144. You don't need to think about it because you already figured it out. It's 12. Yeah, 12 plus 12 is 24, and 12 times 12 is 144. That's the whole point of doing complete the square. Less thinking needed. So that's how we get x plus 12 there. And then same thing for the y stuff. You don't have to think about it. You can look over and say, oh, it's going to be y minus 3. Because -3 plus -3 is -6, and -3 times -3 is +9. So now look at that. We went from general form of a circle to standard form. And then we can easily pick out the center, which I see one of you already wrote -12 comma. Ooh, maybe a typo. Wait, -12 comma 3. Yeah, unless I did something wrong, but I don't think I did. I think my work looks pretty good. I did type this yesterday, so it's possible. But yeah, I got -12 comma 3. So remember, show your work. It's not a 6 there. We cut that in half. It becomes -3. So that's the number that goes there. And then what is our radius? Okay, I see. The radius is 5. Yeah, because the square root of 25 is 5. Yep. Radius is 5. All right. And that's it. That's the hardest really it gets, unless we might have fractions in the modules. I don't know. My examples don't have fractions, but they're done the same way. All right, let's look at, so I have 4 examples. Let's go through these. So number 1, let me give all of you time. There's only, how many are there? There are 4 of you here. So I'm gonna have 4 of you work out this problem, and then just give me a green check when you are done with this problem so we can go on and talk about it. I see a couple of you are tabbed out. I'm not really sure why. Yeah, your work should be done on paper and pencil. Yeah, if you're doing notes like on your computer, Hopefully you have like a touch, a touch screen, a pen, and you're able to write like on a tablet. But your notes in math should be on paper. You should have a notebook for math. Travis, you already done? Dang, what's your answer? Oh, you're in a car. Okay. I'm guessing paper isn't allowed in cars? Question mark. All right. Looks like Isabella already put her answer in there. All right, Lizeth, you what do you think? Do you agree with Isabella's answer? Is the center 12 comma -8 and the radius 6? The center, yeah, I did something wrong on the radius. So the question, if you agree with the center, now remember when you did your equation, did you add the numbers to both sides when you put in those constants for the x and the y stuff? Did you add that number to both sides? So I do agree with Isabella. Just, yep, I do agree with that. Let's take a look. So we move the constant, group the x's, group the y's, leave some space. I wrote it twice. I'm not really sure why. But we're going to take that -24 and we divide by 2. We get -12, and then we square it, and we get +144. So that is what we add to both sides. Now, if you forget, you put 144 there. If you forget to put 144 on the other side, your radius will definitely be wrong. Okay, so you have to add the 64. Yep. Easy mistake. Easy mistake. So then we do the y step. Take the 16, we divide by 2. We get 8, and then 8 squared gives us 64. So we're going to add 64 to both sides. And then -172 plus 144 plus 64 gives us 36. And then without thinking about what goes here, because this is going to factor into x minus 12. Yeah, x minus 12. And then the other one becomes y plus 8. we got these numbers from when we cut those coefficients in half. So this divided by 2, and then 16 divided by 2. And now it's in standard form. So a great way, like on a quiz or on a test, or even when you're working these out in the modules, to learn and practice, to see if these are correct, go to Desmos and type this entire equation in, and it should graph you a nice circle. Then on the next line in Desmos, type this in and hit enter. If your circles are identical, it means you did it right. Now, if you graph this, then graph this, and you get circles that are different locations or different radiuses, something's wrong. All right, let's do another one. Everyone try this one. Again, when you finish this problem, go ahead and give me a green check. Oh, my mic wasn't on. All right. Yeah, 4, 9, and radius 9 are correct. Thank you for reminding me. All right, so run through it real fast. We move the constant over, group the x's, group the y's. We're then going to take the coefficient -8. We're going to cut it in half. Then we're going to square it. So that 16 is what we add to both sides. And we're going to take that -18. We're going to cut that in half. We're going to square it. We get 81. We'll add 81 to both sides. -16 plus 16 plus 81 is 81. And then we factor our polynomials, the x's and the y's. So we get x minus 4 quantity squared, and then we get y minus 9 quantity squared. And that's it. You kind of see how all of these are pretty much the same thing every time, just different numbers. And once you do a few of these, they're really all the same. They're not difficult. Now, if you're somebody who just does one example and expects to do phenomenal on the exam, I hate to break it to you, but that's not practice. All right, let's this is my number 3. I might actually skip these and go to the next half of this. Let me see. Yeah, none of these are difficult more than the other, but let's go ahead and we'll just do the last 2. It's fine. Let me know when all of you are done with this problem. I forgot, I was still muted. I was talking. Everyone finished. Thank you for showing the answer, even though you couldn't hear me. So there's the work for that one. Let me just uncover this stuff. All right. Nice job, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and skip number 4. But just to show the center and the radius, this is what you should get. And then your final answer should look like that. So feel free to work this one out on your own, but you should get that as your answer. All right, let's go on to the second half, which is really kind of the easiest part. I don't know, this was pretty easy, right? Now going the other direction, super easy. All you got to do is multiply it out. So you're just going backwards. So whenever you have a binomial squared, you want to FOIL it out. And then combine like terms and then move everything to the left and make it equal 0. Really straightforward. So let's look at number 5. I got 4 examples. We probably won't do all of them though. But we're going to multiply this out. So you write it twice and you FOIL it. But if you know your multiplication rules and kind of how these factored, you know that we're going to have x squared. And then that middle term is going to be 14 plus 14 gives us 28x. And then 14 times 14 gives us the 196. And then go to the y stuff. Get y squared. And then -6 plus -6 is -12. And then -6 times -6 is positive 36. Then, of course, we're going to move that 22 to the left. And that's why it's a -22 equals 0. Then for general form, you want to have the x squared, then the y squared, then your x term, then your y term, and then your constant, and then equals 0. So x squared plus y squared plus 28x minus 12y, and then 196 plus 36 minus 22. So again, 196 plus 36 minus 22 is 210. And then that's it. We get back to the general form. Super easy. Now, if you want to show the work and write it twice and then show the FOIL work because for whatever reason you're unable to go from this to the polynomial. So remember, this middle term is just 14 plus 14 is 28. 14 times 14 is 196. It's a little shortcut. But yeah, it's kind of easy. All right, if you got to go, you got to go. Oh, all right, she bailed out already. It's okay. And then let's go to number 6. Everyone try that one. And just give me a green check when you have completed it and we can see how we did. Travis, you still working? I see you tabbed out. We're waiting for you. We have everyone done except one person. There we go. All right, what is the final answer for this one? X squared plus y squared minus 32x minus 8x plus 263 equals 0. Let's take a look. Oh, you had a typo in there. You put minus 8x of 8y. But other than that, nice. All right, so there's the work if you wanted to see it. Again, if you want to foil it out and show the work, you can. Um, I personally, and I think I hope hopefully a lot of you know how to go from this binomial squared to the expanded polynomial. It'll save you a couple steps. All right, let's do another one. Number 7. Number 7, also go ahead, make sure you let me know when you are all finished, and we will proceed. Isaiah, you still working? I see you tabbed out. Okay. Hopefully you're using paper and pencil and not your mouse. Or typing it takes too long. Yeah, nobody should type their notes in math. Like, you can't actually see train of thought. You can't draw lines. You can't draw arrows. You can't format it correctly. All right, what did everyone get for their answer? All right, x squared plus y squared plus 4x. So make sure, remember your answer, you have to group x squared, then y squared, then your x term, then your y term, then your constant equals 0. And that's to be correct. Remember, general form is in that order. Yeah, so be careful. But it looks good. And there's my work if you wanted to see it. And we have one more example, which is this one. So go ahead and do this last example, and then let me know when you are all finished. All right, what everyone get? Yeah, it looks good. It's good. And here's the work if you wanted to see it. But that is day 3 of circles. So if you are all caught up on circles, day 1, day 2, day 3, and you feel and you've done gone through the modules and taken or done the examples and learn and practice modules for circles all 3 days, and you're feeling up to taking the quiz, you could do that today if you wanted to instead of waiting till next week. We are starting ellipses on Monday, and I will have day 1 of ellipses in the regular time slot, and then I will do day 2 of ellipses in the afternoon, 12:30, just like today, for those of you that want to show up. So, all right, everyone. Well, thanks for coming. And as always, I hope you learned something. I will see you all Monday. Have a great weekend.